constructed a superhero movie. It's a superhero movie that is for adults and has adult ideas in it. You know, you don't have to think about it any harder than that. I mean, it goes way deeper. You know, if you want to, you can tear it apart like a giant onion and keep peeling it until you know, at its core. But I think that it's cool to experience it, just like when I read the comic book for the first time, and I didn't know, no one was telling me like what it's about or you know, the why of it. You come to it fresh, and sometimes I wish I had that experience because I would love to see the movie or read the book for the first time again because that feeling was for me awesome, especially when you go into something with this anticipation that it's just a Hollywood superhero movie, which is what a lot of people will think because they don't know, right? They see some guys like, fighting, and then when you see the film, you actually have this experience of it, being taken apart. That those archetypes, those mythological shapes, whether they be Batman or Superman or any of superheroes, and how they're just like sort of turned around, whether it's like through sexual fetish or fighting, like actually killing guys they fight, like stuff like that, which is, or whether it's the end of the movie and there's this, sort of the moral dilemma that is the end of the movie is also like a really, it's challenging on all those levels. What I try to do, and I mean the only tool I have is my point of view on the things that when I read it the first time, those ideas that most struck me throughout the whole book, and then so I just tried to kind of extract those ideas, that the things that are quintessentially Watchmen, that can exist in no other material but Watchmen, and those are the things that I really tried to focus on. You have this character Rorschach, who is a very sort of film noirish. He wears a fedora. He has this mask that has a moving Rorschach pattern on it, so that when he looks into a criminal's face, they see maybe something in their own soul. And he's very he looks at the world in a very sort of black and white, good and evil. Evil must be punished. Nite Owl, who is sort of a Batman-esque, gadget-based superhero with he has a utility belt and he uses technology and he has like an owl ship and stuff like, and a cave under his house. Well, I mean that sort of takes you talks about all the superheroes. I think, this whole thing of like, are they their character, the character of them as a superhero, or are they themselves when they're not dressed like their superhero? And that's kind of one of the questions the movie asks, like, which are you? Are you your superhero identity, or are you your alter ego? Like, or are you, are you your secret identity, or are you your alter ego? Those are the questions. So Spectre, who is this second generation superhero. Her mother was a superhero, now she is, and she just pretty much kicks ass. And that was like one of the things, like, her outfit is like incredibly sexy, right? And we were saying that like in a modern superhero film, they try and tone down the sexuality in the costumes as much as they can because they don't want people saying like, oh, you're exploiting the sexuality of this woman in your superhero movie. And in Watchmen, it's kind of about that. She uses that, that's why, like, it's a comment on the fact that in some ways in other superhero movies, they try to sort of gloss over that concept because it becomes very adult. This idea that these superheroes are sort of turned on by their own costumes and they find sort of sexual power in this, in fighting crime, and they get turned on by it and all sorts of things like that, which you would never see in Fantastic Four or some movie like that. We have Dr. Manhattan, who is the blue godlike creature, who is a scientist who was turned into. He's the only Watchman with actual powers, and he through an accident was turned into this God man, no one knows the limits of his power. He could, who knows if he could create galaxies, what he could do. So he's super powerful, but of course he's broken because he loves the world, he loves people, but he can't figure out why they're so brutal, why they're so, all the things that make us unique are things that perplex him, and so he has a hard time with people. Ozymandias, who is kind of the most, the pinnacle of what humanity can become. Like physically, there's no sort of human that is his equal, and mentally, he's supposed to be the smartest man in the world. So he has a great influence on the Watchmen and on the world. Yeah, the comedian, who is he is brutal and uncompromising, but at the same time he also he does see the gray areas in the world, like he laughs about, like, you know, the contradictions in society. In the end, it's worked out really well, because for me it's like another, you know, you need to get into the world immediately, and you have to see, like for instance, the character of the comedian, he has to only be the comedian to you. He can't be someone else as well. And I think that that's the cool thing about what Jeffrey brings, and I think the same thing with Patrick and Jackie, and you know, they're all very, when you see them in the movie, they are those characters.
Leave me alone! The world will look up and shout, "Save us." And I'll whisper, "No."